Welcome to Global Village and thank you for joining today. We are very honored to have Madame Teresa Donino. She's superintendent of one of the junior high school in Medicine Hat. Welcome to the program.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Could you tell us a little bit about your school?
Cape School is a public school. As a public school, it receives public funding, and it does not charge tuition. A lot of people believe that we do charge tuition and that we're private. We're not. We're public. So as public school, we have open access. We have been in operation since September '94, when the school began as a private school, and then in '95 we received our first charter. We are one of the first three in Alberta, after the current minister, the minister at the time, Mr. Johnson, brought about the concept of charter school, and they became legal. We have a population of about 215 students at this point in time, in kindergarten to grade 9. And we serve a population which we defined as academically capable underachievers. The population presents itself in terms of a wide variety of students, culturally diverse, with a wide variety of skills, talents, and needs. So from gifted and gifted disabled to severe disabilities. The vast majority of our students fall within what sometimes is referred to as average range students and mild moderate needs. However, we strongly believe in individualized teaching, and therefore each of our students is on a personalized learning plan, commonly referred to as IPPs, and each one of them has a particular program and receives the supports he or she needs in whichever way he or she needs it. We focus on academic excellence and personal excellence, developing the whole person through our integrated teaching program, a holistic approach to learning that blends all the curriculum areas and builds in community input and outreach in an effort to develop global citizens.
Thank you very much. That's well said. As an immigrant coming to this country a long time ago, immigrants always coming every day, and every immigrant has a dream. When you first arrived in Quebec, I believe back then,
Yes.
What was the challenge coming to Quebec and then coming to Alberta? That will also similar to the immigrants coming today to Canada.
I emigrated from a very, very small town, a village of farmers. My family, my father's family, was blessed in that we owned land and we employed a large percentage of the population. But we were still farmers. When I moved to Montreal with my mother and father, my father had been in Canada already for many years, had a rudimentary knowledge of the English language. I came completely unprepared in a time in my life that was quite difficult. I was in my early teens. I was not quite 13. And I went from a very nurtured, extended family environment to a very, very tight family of three in an environment that was huge in comparison to my roots, with a foreign language, foreign culture, not knowing my way around, and in a school system within which I could not function. In those days, there were no supports for English as a second language. I was placed 2 years behind my grade level, regardless of the fact that I already had several years of second language. I chose French in those days. It was mandatory in those days back in Italy to learn a second language, and I had years of studies of the classics and Latin, that didn't make any difference. So I sat in a classroom for 2 years trying to do what everyone else did while learning the language. The psychological effects were huge. I was a recluse, basically. And by nature, I'm an introvert. I have learned to be an extrovert, but that's just a learned practice. And I became quite extremely sensitive and basically lived my life with my back to the wall for the first 2 years in Canada until I learned the language and made some friendships. And from there, things became a lot easier. However, as a newcomer to Canada, I did face on a daily basis discrimination, not just on the basis of my culture, but on the basis of my gender as well in many cases, and faced also generalized issues between the immigrant generation and the children of that immigrant population. My father's goal and my mother's goal for me were to become educated, to have a university degree, and have a better life than they did, which I do believe is the dream of every immigrant, if not for themselves, for their children. My father's goal in life was to work hard, look after his family, pay his house as quickly as possible so he could be debt-free, and his one pleasure was to buy himself a new car every 5 or 6 years and pay it cash, not debt. Again, I do believe that that is a trait of immigrants. However, the immigrant and the immigrant culture, the immigrant experience enriches the population, because of the diversity. I like to think of it as, for example, making a stew where all sorts of vegetables and meats are put in, and if the stew is cooked well, you have all these flavors that blend, and yet you can still taste each one of them, and each one of them contributes to the magnificent dish. And that's the way I see our culture in Medicine Hat. When I first came, that diversity was not that much there and not so evident. But then it grew, and we just like our school, Medicine Hat has representatives and people from all over the world, which makes our whole experience so much richer. We all benefit from that.
No, thank you, Teresa. The coming from a family that values education, every family's dream, immigrant's dream, is to have their children better life in Canada. What would you advise, for example, for the parents to get involved for the education of the children, for the benefit of the children to have developed their education further?
I can speak to that in general terms, and then I can be a little bit more specific about my position on integrating the newcomers or the various cultures within a school. I do believe that parents need to feel welcomed in the schools, and they need to feel valued and respected and a part of the education of their children. If the school can reach out through whatever means and bring that perspective to the parents, they are more highly engaged. They are more likely to be engaged, I should say, in the school life of their children, and that will also affect positively the life of the whole school and every child in there. So it is the responsibility of the school to reach out and to make those connections, to really listen, and to make the parents and all others within that family feel welcomed in the school, and to value their opinions, and to request feedback, to get them involved in the process of decision making in the school. And and again, that will enrich the whole culture. For the immigrant population, especially those for whom English is not their mother tongue, then we have another issue of the language barrier. We can also reach out as a school community and look for other members within our community that share the culture and share the language and make use of their skills to draw that population in so that they can engage as well through others within the community. So it is incredibly possible. It's not only possible, it's something we absolutely need to do to engage all members of our community in the life of the school. The goal in my mind is to have a community of learners, continuous learners, lifelong learners that goes beyond the walls of the school, that reaches out into the homes and to the extended families and into the Medicine community as a whole.
No, that's very true indeed, Madam. That brings me to the question of what is the advantage of diverse population then, in your own opinion, in the 21st century in terms of economic development of any given community?
Economic development depends on the engagement of the people within the population, and it depends on the opportunity that those people create for themselves and that others within the community help support. Diversity in the school environment creates and supports an awareness of cultures, beliefs, lifestyles, political beliefs, social beliefs, all aspects, and that creates greater acceptance and greater support. If we take that further into the community as a whole, those particular beliefs and ways of living will support all sorts of development, whether it be educational developments in the high schools or post-secondary, or whether it be business or any other aspect of the community life.
Thank you. Stay tuned. Global Village will be back shortly.